Welcome to Flow. Let's get started.
Today we'll be starting in a child's pose position. Bring your big toes together, open your knees wide, and then release your torso down to the ground. We take about a full minute in this first child's pose to center and ground down into your body and to establish your breath. Start to notice and acknowledge your breath a little bit more. With every inhale, allow your ribs and your back to expand. And with every exhale, feel your hips sink a little heavier onto your heels. Allow every breath to become a little more full. Every inhale becomes a little bit deeper, and every exhale becomes a little more complete. Just take this time to come into your body. Notice any areas of tension you might be holding on to. Same with mentally, any areas of tension you might be holding on to. Nothing to do anything about or change, but just something to acknowledge. And now press yourself up into a tabletop position, all fours, and we start to move through this cat-cow. So with every inhale, arch your spine and lift your chin. And then every exhale, press into the mat with your palms and find more space between your shoulder blades. Take this as quickly or slowly as feels good in your body. Cat-cow is my very favorite warm-up. I think it's a great way to get centered into your body. You start to activate through your upper body. You start to activate through your core, and at the same time, you start to find a little more fluidity through your spine and through your major joints. Take one more time, and then press yourself to a downward facing dog. So you can bring your hands a little further in front of you, flip your toes, and lift your hips. Now in our first downward facing dog, feel free to take a little bit of movement. I like to pedal through the feet just to find more openness through the calves and the Achilles. And then find a neutral shape. Energize your heels towards the ground. Spread your fingers wide. Think that you could press your armpits towards your big toes. Come back to that breath that we established in the child's pose. Even though this posture is a little more active, think of that same calm breath. Press down through your hands, press down through your feet. And then roll yourself forward to a high plank. We're coming into a little sequence. From your high plank, keep your heels lifted, bend your knees. I call this pounce pose. Now shift yourself back forward, high plank, and then downward facing dog. And then we continue to move through this. So roll forward to your high plank, bend your knees, send your hips back, inhale high plank, and back to downward facing dog. And start to take this at your own pace. So this is a great way to start to activate through the core even a little bit more and start to find some activation through the legs as well. You can even feel a nice stretch through the bottoms of your feet. Move with your breath at your own pace. As you move from downward facing dog to high plank, really articulate through the spine and feel even more fluidity there. Take one more set, meet in a downward facing dog, and then walk your feet up towards your hands. Separate your feet, bend your knees a lot, forward fold ragdoll. I'll give you a few variations for the arms. You can grab elbow to elbow. You can interlace your fingers at the nape of the neck, or you can interlace your fingers at the base of your spine for a nice shoulder opener. Notice if you're locking through your knee joint, really try to have a little bit of softness there. Think that your neck could get longer, that the crown of your head could get heavier towards the ground. Keep those even breaths going, the same breaths that we established in your first child's pose. And any arm variation that you've taken, let it go. Bend your knees a little bit deeper and slowly, slowly roll yourself up to stand, one vertebrae at a time. Feel your spine stack all the way to the top. The head is the last thing to arrive. And then once you get there, give yourself a few shoulder rolls, just shake out a little bit. We're coming into a sun salutation A sequence. Bring your feet together, open your arms wide, and on your exhale, swan dive forward fold, come down. Inhale for a halfway lift, bring your hands down, step your feet back into a high plank. Hold here, 5 breaths. Shoulders on top of the wrists, energize out of your heels. We've already been in this high plank, and now we're just holding. Find your breath, take a full big breath in. We're moving into an optional chaturanga. Bend your elbows directly behind you, option to lower your knees. Shoot your heart forward for an upward facing dog or a cobra. Downward facing dog. We take this 4 more times with breath. Bring your gaze forward. Step your feet up. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms wide, stand all the way up. And then bring your hands to heart center and release your hands down by your side. We take this 4 more times with breath. Inhale to sweep the arms open. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, high plank, and pause. Now you can step back or you can hop back as I just demonstrated. If you're taking the hop back, make sure that you're landing with a little bit of softness in your elbow so it's not too jarring for your shoulder joint. Find your breaths here, and then we're taking this optional high to low plank. So you can always lower your knees down, or you can keep your knees lifted, lower your body, shoot your heart forward for a back bend, and then bring your hips back up, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your gaze forward, step or hop your feet to your fingers. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, open the arms wide, stand up, palms press. Exhale, hands through heart center, hands down by your side. Again with breath. Inhale, open the arms wide, lift up. Exhale, open the arms, forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift, find length. Exhale, high plank, bring your hands down, step your feet back or hop your feet back and breathe. 5 full big breaths in this high plank. Knit your rib cage together. Actively press into your palms and spread your fingers. Option to move through this high to low plank, or you can just pike yourself right up into a downward facing dog. 2 more times, 1 breath, 1 movement, maybe moving a little quicker. Inhale, look forward. Step or hop your feet up. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Arms are wide. Inhale, stand all the way up. Palms press. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center and release. Inhale, open the arms, stand up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale for high plank, hands down, feet back, step or hop, pause and breathe. Feel this power through your core. Option to lower the knees if you need a little bit of extra support. Keep your breath moving, especially as things get challenging. And then move through your sequence. So maybe you just pike right back up to downward facing dog, or maybe you move through this high to low plank, add in the back bend, downward facing dog. Inhale to bring your gaze forward, step or hop up. Toe heel the feet together, inhale for halfway lift. Exhale for forward fold. Open your arms wide, inhale, stand all the way up, palms press. Exhale, bring your hands through to heart center, hands down by your side. 1 more time here. Inhale, open the arms, lift up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale for high plank, bring your hands down, step or hop your feet back, pause and breathe. 5 full big breaths. And when you're ready, take your variation. Maybe you bend yourself into this push-up, or maybe you just push yourself back to downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, bring your gaze forward between your hands. Step or hop your feet forward. Toe heel your feet together. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale for forward fold. Inhale, open the arms wide, stand up, palms pressed together. And then exhale, bring your hands through to heart center and release your hands down by your side. Roll yourself down, forward fold, step back to downward facing dog. And now step your right foot forward between your hands for a low lunge. From here, we move into what's called a jaguar lunge to a modified pyramid. So take a small bend with your back knee, lift your chest for jaguar lunge, and then try to keep your legs exactly as they are and try to straighten both of your legs. You can keep your back heel lifted and move through this. So every inhale, bend your front knee, lift your chest. Exhale to try to straighten both of your legs while you keep your feet exactly where they are. They stay planted. So this is a nice stretch and opener, obviously for your front right hamstring, and we feel a nice opening in the back left hip flexor. This is also a great exercise to get a little more warmed up through the spine and through the core. Keep this moving with breath. Maybe linger a little bit longer. If there's a certain stretch, one of the postures feels like you want to stay there a little bit longer and breathe into that space. Take this 1 more time, and then press yourself back to downward facing dog. And we take this the other way, so step your left foot between your hands, low lunge. And then bend into your back knee, lift your chest, and then shift yourself back for a modified pyramid. So if your front left knee does not get all the way straight in that modified pyramid, that's okay. We're just working to warm up through the hamstrings and through the hip flexors. We can also find a nice openness through the chest as you bend into your front left knee. Keep this moving with breath. Every inhale, you come into that lunge, and then every exhale, come into your modified pyramid. Find a bit of doming through the back as you move into that modified pyramid. Take this one more time and then move to downward facing dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet and come into a wide-legged forward fold. You can separate your feet as wide as you'd like to, and then just release your body over. We're here for about 45 seconds, so if there's any variation that you'd like to take here, maybe you bend into one knee or the other, find a little bit of side-to-side movement with your torso. If you want to take a twist, you can find that as well. Or you can just stay here and hang. With every exhale, imagine that you could find a little more release into the stretch. You could find a little more elongation through your spine, a little more distance between each vertebrae. Keep your breath moving, keep your head heavy. And then from here we come into a seated spinal twist. So this is a nice glute opener. So bring yourself to sit and then cross your left foot over your right. Feel both of your butt bones plug down into the ground and then reach your right arm up to find length. And then bring your right arm outside of your left knee for a twist. Now notice if your right butt bone wants to lift up off the ground, try to plug your right butt bone down. With every inhale, imagine finding more length through the spine. And then with every exhale, think of finding more twist and more rotation through the torso. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. Keep that breath and that energy going. Feel your spine get even longer while your butt bones plug down into your mat. And now release me, find a counter twist, just up and over to the right. Take a few moments here. You can stay upright or you can release your torso down if that feels nice. And now we switch, we transition. So come back to center, unravel your legs, and we'll just take the opposite leg on top. So that would be the right foot on top. Plug both of your butt bones into the ground, lift your left arm up, and then bring your left arm over your right leg and find your twist. Every inhale, imagine that your spine gets longer. Every exhale, find a little more twist. Maybe your eyeballs go a little more towards the right. The breath might feel a little constricted here because you're twisting. Really try to think of breathing consciously. Can you grow even longer through the spine as you continue to feel your butt bones plug down into the ground? And now slowly release and we find the counter twist up and over towards the left. Just let yourself spiral the other way for a few moments. Find that same breath here. And then slowly release. Bring yourself out of this posture and come into a final cross-legged position. Allow your hands to rest on your knees with your palms down or palms up. Allow your eyes to close and come back to the breath that we established at the beginning of the sequence. Take one last full big breath in and one last full big breath out. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.